Hey guys, it's Alyssa, and today I want to talk to you about the multi-user virtual environment Cignition. Cignition is a site that allows students to really focus on their mathematical abilities. It actually reminds me a lot a lot of Prodigy in that it is a gaming format that in order to do well or to move forward in the game, you have to answer math problems. So I like that for engagement. My students currently love Prodigy. They love being able to play the game because it's more of a game than it is here's a lesson, here's an assignment, do the work. So I like the gaming format tools that we've been introduced to in this class, and I think Cignition is going to work very well. So currently I'm in my assignments, just one assignment that I created recently. I just chose fraction addition because my students who are sixth graders still struggle with adding fractions. I'm not sure if they get a lot of practice in fifth grade doing that, but by the time they come to sixth grade, they've either forgotten or they're just still struggling with it. So I just named it Adding Fractions Review just to give them a little extra practice. And I only did 10 problems because I feel that that's enough to get them to practice it, but not too much that they're going to either shut down or be bored. So just 10 problems, and I gave it a start and an end date. And whenever I actually have students in my class, that will individually push this assignment into each one of their Cignition game lands. So once they log into Cignition, they'll have this assignment here. Now, one thing that I will say about Cignition is that I feel that it's more limited in the options that you have. It seems like these are the only options that are available to us to be able to challenge our students with or get our students to practice with, whereas Prodigy is standard align. It gives you every common core standard from kindergarten to eighth grade, and you can assign any one of those standards at any time to any student. So I think that Prodigy has a lot more to offer in terms of content, but I like Cignition's format. So before I go over to the actual gaming part of Cignition, I just want to talk about some of the resources that are here for you. So there are actual teacher resources that can help you just, get used to using Cignition, whether it's, you need a quick start guide or you think your students need a quick start guide, in different types of interventions that you can use. There's a lot of different resources here, and I love, love, love this part. When you're sharing it with parents, there's a Spanish version. Like I've said a million times, my school has a very large ELL population, and the majority of our students do speak Spanish. So being able to tell their parents what they're doing in class in their native language to where they're going to fully understand it is amazing, because sometimes translations don't fully translate in the appropriate language. So I like having that ability. There's also some textbook alignments. I haven't looked super in depth to this just because we don't actually use a textbook. We have one, but we try not to use it in depth just because we feel that it's not allowing the students to actually critically think. It just gives them step by step. Here's what you do. Here's your three variables. Here's your three numbers. Solve the problem. It's not actually making the students think for themselves. And so we use the Go Math book. And so if you use that, you can click on the Go Math and there's some alignment from Cignition to the Go Math. So that's nice to have that option. Like I said, we don't use the textbook a whole lot, but it's always nice to have an extra option. There are some pre-made classroom lessons here. So if I'm in fraction addition, I can click on lesson 1, and this is a full-blown lesson for you to use in your classroom. It's a complete template. It gives you the student's will, what is the learning objective, that tells you the standards you're using, what materials you need, and then it kind of gives you a script of what you want to do. So you want to distribute the template. You want to accept possible early student contributions. So if the students are answering questions, you want to receive those. So it goes very in depth with step-by-step instructions on what you're supposed to do, and it even gives you a time to reflect, which I love, because the students need to be able to take a step back and think about, okay, what did I actually just do? Because sometimes you go so fast, the students don't actually remember when they leave the classroom what they did in the class because you just go boom, boom, boom so fast. So taking a minute to decompress and debrief the lesson of that day, I think is really great. So those are just some of the resources. You also have your gameplay stats, which I'm not going to have any right now just because I haven't pushed this out to any of my classrooms. So, but you have those stats available to you that are going to let you know what percentage of your students have completed it, and then possibly what percentage of students have mastered those concepts. So going actually over to the site, so this is actually my Cignition of a game that I'm actually playing currently. I am trying to build a house for the Gruffins. Those are little creatures in this gaming system, and that's what they're called. And to do so, to build the house, I have to add fractions together, and they have to equal to. So if I pop 2/3 over here, this little bat thing is going to pop in another fraction, and they gave me 2/3 again, and so I have to then figure out what's left over. So I know 2/3 plus 2/3 is 4/3, and I know that I'm going to need another 2/3, and so I'll drag and drop, and if you notice, I gained a star. That's because I got it right. Now, they don't want you necessarily to submit right away just because you actually earn a bonus if you submit more rows all at once. You'll receive more bricks to lay down on your foundation. So I'm going to go to my next fraction, 7/5. Again, the bat brings down another one, so 7/5 and 2/5. I know that's 9/5, and I know I only need one left over, but let's see if I put in the wrong fraction, what happens. So if I put 1/3 in, notice it blinked red. That is a key indicator of, oops, something went wrong. I didn't do something right. And if you look over at my star, it's gone. It fell apart and broke, which is really sad. I think Cignition is a little dramatic in that, but it works. It's very visually appealing to the students because they're like, oh man, I lost a star. And that's because I had to take a turn, and I lost that turn because I got it wrong. So now if I put the right fraction in, I gain a star back because I got it right. Now, if I submit these two rows together, you'll notice that it's telling me I'm going to get 42 bricks. And so if I just click that, submit the rows, it lets you know that by submitting multiple rows, you earn more bricks. That's an added bonus. And if you saw, my bricks were laying down, so I'm still building my house. And that's what I really like about Cignition is I think it's more applicable to the students' everyday life. It's not just in Prodigy, you have a wizard fighting another wizard, battling a wizard, and that's great and all, and it's very engaging for the students, but it's not really applicable. There are no students who are actual wizards. That would be really cool, but it's not a thing. Whereas building a house is a true job that these students could have in the future. And so I like that it could potentially spark curiosity in our students and thinking, man, I really enjoy doing that. Let me look into architecture. Let me look into engineering. So it sparks their curiosity, and it's just more applicable to their lives. And that's the main reason why I like Cignition better than I do Prodigy. So I hope you enjoyed this. I am actually very excited to be able to start using this in my classroom, and hopefully in the near future or in the next year, I can go more in depth with using it more often in the classroom. But I hope that you learned at least a little bit from this tutorial, and I look forward to viewing all of your other videos and artifacts. Thanks. Bye.